Hello and welcome to Forestedge Kart Club on the 1st of August 2021 for round 6 of the Blue Challenge and also for round 4 of the NKRA Championship. First up, it's the juniors, and their Blue Challenge currently looks like this. It's Sam Mitchell leading the way ahead of Mitch Carpenter with 5 points separating them. 6 points back is Reese Reed, and a further 2 points back to Jamie Dart with Josh Hibbard and Maddie Stadden even on 320 points rounding out the field. In the NKRA Championship, it's Sam Mitchell leading, this time from 5 points ahead of Mitch Carpenter, with Josh Hibbard and Reese Reed even on 3rd ahead of Jamie Dart, Maddie Stadden and Rudy Morton, who's going to be rounding out the season from the next couple of rounds till the end. In today's heats, Heat 1 was won by number 63 Jamie Dart ahead of Reese Reed, Sam Mitchell, Maddie Stadden, Mitch Carpenter and Josh Hibbard. In race 2, looks like the rain may have come down there as the times are significantly slower. Sam Mitchell took the win there from Hibbard, Reed, Maddie Stadden, Jamie Dart and Mitch Carpenter, before it looks like it dried up for Heat 3 with Reese Reed taking that win ahead of Jamie Dart, Sam Mitchell, Josh Hibbard, Mitch Carpenter and Maddie Stadden making up the result for the 3rd heat. Those 3 heats will come together to form the grid for our final, and pole position will go to number 29 Reese Reed leading us out ahead of Sam Mitchell in the number 20. Row 2 is Jamie Dart and Josh Hibbard, the 63 and the 46 respectively, and the number 61 Maddie Stadden and number 90 of Mitch Carpenter rounding out the grid. As you can see, a lot of drivers out there on wet tyres, and oh, that's a spin! That's the number 29 of Reese Reed going around in Winger's Dip. He's going to spin it back around and get back on up the way, but that's going to cost him some. He'll get back onto the back of the pack. 2 short rolling laps here should allow Reese Reed to retake his position at the front. Just going to make his way through safe. And sure enough, he is doing. Going to move on up back towards the front. You can see on Reese Reed's way through there, a couple of drivers opting for slick tyres and hoping the track to dry and the race come to them. Number 63 Jamie Dart as well as number 90 of Mitch Carpenter both opting for the slick option. Doesn't look like it's the preferred tyre for the moment though. We'll have to see as the race unfolds. Now, through the cut through for the second time, it's number 29 Reese Reed on pole for the number 20 in the Mac Minarelli, Sam Mitchell. They're going to take a look up to the lights, and we are underway for 7 minutes plus a lap of racing. Little touch in the back there from Mitch Carpenter and Maddie Stadden, but everyone gets away clean as Reese Reed to the first corner first ahead of Sam Mitchell. That's number 46 of Josh Hibbard up into 3rd place ahead of Dart, and then Stadden. Maddie Stadden going for the inside through Johnny's. To no avail. Mitch Carpenter may have a look down in towards Winger's Dip. For the first time, it's Reese Reed leading from Mitchell. Then it is Hibbard. All the drivers running a wide line there, and Jamie Dart's got the exit. He's going to run up towards the bus stop. And that is Josh Hibbard slotting back in ahead. So Jamie Dart's slick tyres not allowing him to brake as late. And that's going to leave Hibbard still in 3rd position. He's going to run a very wide line up through midgets. And you can see there the grip advantage that the wet tyres have in this current stage of the race is down towards Tollies for the first time. It's Reese Reed still leading in the number 29. Sam Mitchell trying to give pursuit ahead of Josh Hibbard. Then it's Jamie Dart and Mitch Carpenter both struggling on slick tyres. Maddie Stadden rounding out the field across to finish the first lap. And that's a spin in the Haynes loop. That's Reese Reed's gone around. Everyone looks like they're going to avoid him, and Reese Reed's going to get it pointed back in the right direction. And that is Mitch Carpenter and Maddie Stadden both going off as well through Johnny's. So that's 2 places back up for Reese Reed already, down towards Winger's Dip. You can see drivers running very wide still. Maddie Stadden evidently has lost a bit of time there with that off, but she's carried on up the road. Back up to the lead. Sam Mitchell leads the way up the hill. Now we're back on board with Reese Reed once again. Jamie Dart in the 63 to our right. And Reese Reed's going to be able to drive round the outside, as is the extra grip of the wet tyres. Not looking like the slick gamble was going to pay off at this point. It's now down towards Tollies once again. It's Sam Mitchell leading. This time it's Josh Hibbard in 2nd. Reese Reed already up to 3rd. Ahead of Dart, Carpenter and Stadden is the order as they go into the Haynes Loop once again. That is now Josh Hibbard, the 46 in the Octane, under pressure from the number 29 of Reese Reed, and Hibbard's made a small mistake. Reese Reed's going to go up the inside, and they're going to go side by side down the straight towards Windsor's Dip. Reese Reed on the outside, Hibbard with the usually preferable inside line, but the grip's on the left hand side of the circuit there, and Reese Reed's going to be able to drive around the outside and up into second as they go up towards the bus stop. Now on the way out of the bus stop, it's Sam Mitchell leading once again up towards Midgets. Reese Reed though looks like he's taking chunks of time out already. Then there's Hibbard, then there's the two slick-shod karts of Dart and Carpenter battling it out for 4th place. Not losing too much time, so if the track really does start to dry, they could be in a good position. But round Tollies once again. The gap now down to just 9/10 of a second as Reese Reed sets a new fastest lap of the race. Jamie Dart still holding off Mitch Carpenter, and you can see a definite greasy line forming. Not quite dry, but not as slippy as the wet line on either side of it. Down towards Windsor's Dip again. You can see Reese Reed, it's starting to get very close to the back of Sam Mitchell. Josh Hibbard just trying to stay in touch in case something kicks off, but now on board with Reed up into the bus stop. Sam Mitchell there, getting very big in front of us, and maybe a little touch there from Reese Reed. It was very close. Sam Mitchell definitely knows he's there though, and he's going to cover the inside line up through Midgets. You can see the back end of both karts trying to step out as they take differing lines. Down towards Climate. You can see there Sam Mitchell holding the inside line through Climate. Reese Reed not able to do anything as Mitchell gets a bit of a slide on through Tollies. As they're going to go across the line through Parsons. Now up towards the Haynes Loop once again. Reese Reed closing right back in against Sam Mitchell. This is a good fight for the lead so far. As they're going to go round the grandstand. Down towards Windsor's Dip once again. Josh Hibbard trying to go with them. Now down at Windsor's Dip, Reese Reed's going to close right up again, and another little nudge from Reed to Sam Mitchell as they go through Windsor's Dip. Now back up the hill again towards the bus stop. Sam Mitchell's going to stay ahead as they go through the bus stop, and on the exit, a look over both shoulders from Sam Mitchell. He's going to go very defensive up the hill. Now into Midgets. You see Sam Mitchell definitely trying to cover that inside line early, but Reese Reed relentless, looking right, looking left, trying to go around the outside of Climate. And it looks like he's kept an overlap as they're going to go down into Tolly side by side. Reese Reed down the inside for the lead. Sam Mitchell trying to get a switch back, but to no avail, and Reese Reed takes the lead with 100 seconds to go. Round the Haynes Loop once again, the number 29 ahead of the number 20. I don't think this fight's quite done yet though. Can Sam Mitchell come back at him? There's Josh Hibbard in third in the Octane. Mitch Carpenter has overtaken Jamie Dart on that last lap, so the two slick-shod runners changing positions. There's Mitch Carpenter. You can see the clear definition there between the greasy line and the wet line as they go through past the grandstand and down the hill towards Windsor's Dip. Very awkward corner this, where the camber is concerned. All the grip is right on the outside white line, so the wider the line the better through there. As now up the hill towards the bus stop. That's Mitch Carpenter and Jamie Dart. Carpenter now up towards Midgets, going to run a very wide line there. So to Jamie Dart, but now back to the front three. Reese Reed leads over the line, 56.36, the new fastest lap of the race. Putting another half a second between himself and Sam Mitchell. Josh Hibbard holding true in third. And that's the Maddie Stadden kart. So we've lost Maddie Stadden earlier in the race. It's unfortunate for her to have to watch this one from the infield. And that's a spin from Sam Mitchell, the number 20. Gone round at Windsor's Dip. Now Josh Hibbard in the 46. That's going to renew his energy and take the fight to Sam Mitchell, potentially for second. As there's Mitch Carpenter sailing way past Windsor's Dip, but he's going to go through holding fourth place. Jamie Dart with a far more measured approach, trying to close that gap. But now up towards Midgets. It's Mitchell and Hibbard getting closer and closer together for second. Then there's Carpenter. You can see the time's not too different now, starting to come to the slick runners, but a bit of a case of too little too late as Reese Reed starts the last lap, and a spin! And a spin, there's a wheel off one of the karts. It's Josh Hibbard out of Tollies. And that is a very unfortunate place to come to a halt within sight of the last lap board. It's Hibbard now just trying to get his car away from the racing line. Only half a lap to go now for the number 29, Reese Reed. He's seen the last lap board. You can see he's got a big gap to play with. Now on board with Jamie Dart. Round past the grandstand. Down the hill. You can see Mitch Carpenter ahead of us. They're going to inherit third and fourth place. But that gap is not going to get any smaller for Jamie Dart. And now, rounding the final corner, Reese Reed is on the right tyres and used them to good effect. Takes the win here at Forestedge, the number 29 in the OTK. In second place, Sam Mitchell, the number 20 in the Mac Minarelli. Well fought game second place. Now in third, number 90, Mitch Carpenter on slick tyres. Nearly loops it round in the final bend, but he's going to make it to the line ahead of Jamie Dart. So good run by all. Good job to all the finishers. But that was not the end of things, as in post-race scrutineering, Mitch Carpenter was excluded for a technical infringement, so that's going to change the result of the race some. Officially, Reese Reed, though, took the win and the fastest lap, ahead of Sam Mitchell, with Jamie Dart promoted up to third, ahead of Josh Hibbard and Maddie Stadden, both of who didn't manage to make it to the finish, and Mitch Carpenter dropped to the back. What that will do to the Blue Challenge, Sam Mitchell is going to retain the lead with a gap only 7 points to Reese Reed, the event winner. Jamie Dart in third, a further 8 points behind, ahead of Josh Hibbard, Maddie Stadden, Mitch Carpenter and Rudy Morton, who will be out on track in a couple of races time to round out the season. In the NKRA Championship, Sam Mitchell likewise leads, this time only from 3 points ahead of Reese Reed. Josh Hibbard and Jamie Dart even on third, ahead of Maddie Stadden, Mitch Carpenter and Rudy Morton. That's going to be all the action from the juniors here at Forestedge, but not the end of the action for the day, as the Senior Blues are going to be out on track for their round 6 of the Blue Challenge coming up soon. We shall see you then. Goodbye.
Right,